$1 million. That is the big number in this current day and age. A lot of people were thinking $1 million must be able to buy me a nice size house on a big size lot. But in Queens, New York, $1 million can only get you so far. So in this new series, we'll dig into what type of houses you can buy in the very different neighborhoods of Queens, and what type of houses you can expect so you can prepare yourself to figure out how you want to go about buying your first home. So before we get into it, this is Gary, and this is my new series of what $1 million can buy you in Queens, New York. So like and subscribe, and comment down below if you have any questions you have about any neighborhood or anything you want to know about real estate. So let's get into it. Queens is the largest borough out of the 5 boroughs in New York City. And Bayside specifically is focused more on the northeast corner of Queens. With this being a great neighborhood with these specific characteristics. From a lot of commercial space from Bay Terrace all the way on this top left corner. And then a lot of commercial space on Boulevard highlighted in blue. And then more so on Northern Boulevard highlighted in orange. With so much commercial activity in this small compact area, it really provides a lot of opportunities to really explore and really enjoy this neighborhood. Alongside those commercial aspects, there's a lot of green space and nature that you will be able to really enjoy when you're going to this neighborhood. In Bayside, it is home to a lot of schools that provide one of the best education in Queens. With it being spread all across Bayside, be sure to verify which school your house is zoned to make sure you're getting the one that you want for your children. You must be wondering, if you do actually move to Bayside, what type of transportation option do I really have when living here? And to be honest with you, Bayside is great. And here's a map of the bus routes. And for Bayside, there's not that many options that really service Bayside. There's no local trains, and there's only a couple bus routes that mainly stretches along the commercial avenues of Bayside. And there's one express train, the Long Island Railroad, along the center of Bayside. But beyond that, if you really depend on a 7 train or other trains like that, you might need to take a commute from a bus to a train that will extend your travel time. So please take that into consideration when deciding on moving to Bayside. From this, you can see if you do have a car, it is better for your quality of life to get around, as being dependent on buses might be a harder avenue to get to certain places. Now that you heard a little bit about what Bayside has to offer, let's look into 3 houses that recently sold in Bayside and see what type of houses are people buying, and something you might be interested in learning more about the pros of each house and what aspects you might consider for yourself when looking at houses to purchase. So let's get right into it. Here are the 3 houses that we will be looking today. The 3 houses are relatively spread out around Bayside to really give you a clear view of what some areas of Bayside has to offer. So each of them have their unique aspects with regards to the house itself and to the location. So let's dive into the first one. So you just need to remember, these houses were sold in the past year when the interest rate was abnormally high compared to the past few years. So these prices might not reflect what you will be seeing in the future. This video is just to notify you and provide some context for things you might need to look out for when looking at houses. So here's some brief information for these houses themselves. Which each main thing you need to know is that for these houses, I have selected 3 that are less than $1 million, with each having the same amount of bedrooms and baths. They were built around the same time with a couple different styles so that you could understand how things are priced at. So all of them, since they are in Bayside, they are zoned for the Queens District 26 for the school. But each of them will not have the exact same schools that the houses will be zoned to. So be aware about that when looking at houses. So for the first one, we have 20703 36th Avenue. And you might be thinking, this is an amazing looking house, and it's because this house has been renovated in 2014. So this is a standard lot size around 5,000 square feet. This is something that is around 28 by 30 for the building size itself. This is on the average size, so the property tax is around $9,000 per year. And I have here listed the schools that this house is zone 2, which each around 10 minutes drive. So in the morning, it's not too much of a detour to really drop off kids at their school. And for this house specifically, there's a detached garage, private driveway that provides that 2-car parking space with a finished basement and attic. This way, you have a lot of space to really utilize for your own personal usage. With it being renovated in 2014, there's a more modern central AC system and equipment that really meets the Energy Star requirement. So this is where the house is located. As you can see, it's right next to a highway. And this is something that a lot of people might not actually prefer when buying a house. But there's a lot of different aspects my people might be interested in. Like this, it has easy access to the 295 highway. So this is something that you could easily have access to when you're living here at this specific location. And the other thing is you need to be aware that this house is around 10-15 minutes walk from a couple buses from the Q13, 31, 76, 28, and the Long Island Railroad. So this way you will be able to get around without a car, and has a great ability to really explore from this area. So as this is a great location for the other aspect of being a more central location that you'll be able to access the main commercial spaces in Bayside. From all the way up, you could have in the middle to Bay Terrace, or more south, all the way to Northern Boulevard. And it is a short distance to the Bell Boulevard, where there's a lot of nice stores from pastry shops all the way to foreign cuisines. So this is something you might be able to enjoy since you're detached from all that activity. I'll still be able to have access to it with this location. Although you're a little bit farther away from the green spaces, so if you're somebody that doesn't necessarily need that direct access to a park, this is a great option, as there's a lot of trees around in Bayside in general along the street. So for the next one, we have 21428 35th Avenue. So for this house, this is an attached house, so this is a little bit smaller in lot and building size. And the property taxes reflect that, around $4,000. With this having easy access to a lot of schools nearby, which is a lot shorter drive than the 2 other options we'll be seeing today. So since this is an older house, there is still use oil heating, and there's a private driveway. This way, you will be able to park 2 cars. So this is a house that is more essentially the center of Bayside, I would say. This one has easy access to Bay Terrace and Northern Boulevard, and is only a few minutes walk from Bell Boulevard, which has a good amount of commercial activity. So this is a house that if you needed public transportation, you have less options compared to others, which you have the Q13, Q31, and the Long Island Railroad. That's all relatively like 10-15 minutes walk from this house. So the best thing is that this one has great access to transportation and highways if you have a car, since it's directly in between 2 major Cross Island Parkway 295. The other amazing aspect I think about this house is you're a minute walk from Crochron Park, and Crochron Park has access to the Little Neck Bay, which you have nice morning walks and afternoon walks along this strip. This way you really enjoy nature and really separate yourself from the hustle and bustle that usually New Yorkers are associated with. And lastly, we'll look at 5051 Horatio Parkway. So this is the largest lot that we'll be seeing today, and this is a ranch style house. It has a property tax around $11,000 every year, and the building is a little bit bigger than the other options that we're seeing today. So this one is a short drive from all the schools that is Zone 2, with it itself already having a garage and private driveway for that can fit 2 cars, and a finished basement with some extra water heat. So for this house, it's all the way on the lower left corner of Bayside, with it being directly next to Alley Pond Park. So this is a place that has a lot of easy access to highways. So for this location itself, you're around like 10-15 minute walk from the Q12, Q30, the Q27, and the N20G. So these are something you might need to consider, as if you're trying to go to Manhattan, this might be a little far for you, since you will need to take the Long Island Railroad or try to find a way to go to Flushing to take a train. So since this is directly next to Alley Pond Park, this is one of the larger parks in Queens. And this one has a lot of nice nature spaces to enjoy a long walk after a long day, and you also have access to Little Neck Bay from this park. This way you will be able to cross by Gershwin Park if you realistically wanted to walk. So these are the 3 houses that I'm showing you today. This is not an exhaustive list. This is only something that really provides some aspects of looking for a house and things that you might want to consider with regards to location and what you personally want, as each house with the unique location and house structure and interior will vary the prices that will be associated with it. So figure out what works for you, best for you and your family, and you'll see if you realistically want to just buy a house or not in this neighborhood. Today's video, I made it with the goal of really showing you what houses that Bayside has to offer. This way you will be able to understand aspects that you might want to consider when buying a house and finding out what's the best for you and your family, not just in the short term, but living in it for 5 to 10 years. So like and subscribe, and comment down below if you have anything you want to learn about or have questions about what I talked about today.